I want to pick up a few points from the comments. Somebody has said that only rich people are shirkers, which is absurd. To shirk is to avoid your duty. So the people in the House of Lords who were appointed to the House of Lords, or who were given life peerages, and who then don't turn up and don't speak and do their job, which is to revise and support the process of developing legislation, are certainly shirkers. It doesn't require wealth in order to shirk. It requires a sense of responsibility. There's another point which I thought was very interesting, which was about this was a person who said, the politically correct argot here, only poor people are shirkers, which is, of course, entirely wrong. As for the Severn Trent water, there's a person here called Martin Hawley who says that his brother had a problem with Severn Trent. They didn't believe his water meter, and he'd been giving the readings for 4 years, and eventually they got a court bailiff to come out with one of the people who read the meter. He was correct, demanded a full apology, and surely what they're doing, he says, is fraud, and criminal action should follow. Absolutely. And Ray Mondorf says, try living in the Highlands of Scotland without winter payment. Really hard. And just to come back to the House of Lords, your views are self-contradictory, says one person. On the one hand, you defend the idea that hereditary justifies entitlement. On the other, you emphasise the importance of working. It makes no sense. We work because we're not entitled, and the entitled don't work. Well, this is now turned on its head when we defined, when the royal family defines itself as working royals. It seems a bit of an oxymoron, doesn't it, to define the top of the aristocracy in terms of whether they work or not. But that is the strange world in which we live. Having a hereditary peerage doesn't necessarily mean that you are rich. You might be entitled, but you're not necessarily rich. That's the first point. And I've certainly known princesses and princes who are unbelievably poor. Most of them from other countries. So, for example, the Polish nobility in the south of London, very poor, and often struggling to make ends meet. But the hereditary peers, this is part of the legislative process, and one of the advantages that the hereditary system provides is that these are people who are not in hock to anybody. They haven't been appointed by the Labour or the Conservative parties, so they can sit and listen to debates and draw their own conclusions. So I think we should take that as an example of how to behave in the House of Lords. The party affiliation should be left at the door, and members of the House of Lords should be instructed and expected to vote on their conscience, as the term is given, rather than according to a party whip. The party whips in the House of Lords should be abolished overnight as part of the upper chamber reforms, and members of the House of Lords, whether they are appointed or whether they have inherited their office, should vote entirely on conscience and on the basis of what they have heard, rather than on what they are told to do. The House of Lords, Lords should not be commanded to do anything other than appear in the House of Lords and do their job.